Imagine life on a small corner of paradise. Cool breeze, lush ocean wind, and a reputation for being on the cutting edge. You don't need to imagine, all you need is to come to Guernsey.
Lifestyle here is really good.
It's nice and secluded.
Guernsey's a small island that sits between England and France. On the surface, it appears free of problems, pain, and poverty. A perfect paradise, perhaps. But some here say,
life can be quite difficult for some people living on this paradise island.
Barbara Savage pastors 3 churches in Guernsey. She's also the prison chaplain. She knows what's going on in the streets and says there's trouble in paradise.
One of the biggest problems is that because it's an affluent island, there is a lot of money around for most people. But there are a fair number of people who life is not easy for. People who live on very basic wages. People who are having several jobs in order just to tick over. Because they have to shop at the same supermarket as the people who are living on millions a year. And that is quite difficult for them.
Guernsey was a leading exporter of tomatoes and flowers. However, these industries have met with extreme competition, and the results have been devastating. Mike Preston is a native of Guernsey, and Paul Gower is a longtime resident. Both have witnessed the changes that have taken place and the challenges it now faces.
In days gone by, the horticultural industry used to provide employment for a lot of people.
The growing industry, as we called it, was thriving. Suddenly, we were hit with a number of factors, including overseas competition, slump in prices, increase in oil prices, because obviously you have to heat these greenhouses during the winter.
But I think it would be fair to say now that the horticultural industry is not what it used to be, doesn't have as much prominence in Guernsey, and now the financial sector really has taken on that place of superiority on the island.
Now Guernsey has transformed itself into a banking island, and with money comes security.
Next to no crime. No, no crime. Walk out in the street, no, you're not going to get attacked.
It's very safe for children.
You could walk home from school alone at the age of 7 or 8 and not have any fear of abduction.
But not even the wall of money that surrounds this island can shield it from the destructive force of indulgence.
I think that an increasing problem as well would be drugs.
The hardest parts of my job is when I'm at the prison and I see young people coming back in again and again, only 16 or 17 years of age, and already got it well into drugs and alcohol, and their lives are in such a mess, and yet they don't seem to have that ability to be able to turn away.
People know what you've done before you've even thought about doing it.
Part of the problem is that they get into the cycle of belonging to a certain group and then find that they can't get out of that group when they get back out of prison. They're already labelled with, you know, criminal or drug dealer or whatever it might be.
Every week, it seems, this year in particular, there's another car stolen. Some joyriders have taken a car from an estate somewhere, set it on fire. It's an island which contains a vast number of broken families.
I find that one of the greatest difficulties is through family life breaking up, children have that no sense of parental security. And I think this is one of the biggest problems, that they don't have anybody that they can really go to. Even in an island as idyllic as this, there is abuse goes on, and it's really sad because those children grow up to be people with a real chip on their shoulders and real no sense of what it is to be a good parent. And then they become parents and they don't know any better way to bring their children up.
Mothers who have a different boyfriend home each weekend and they don't know which uncle it's going to be, and it's a lot of pressure for a very young child.
With no one to go to, many children of Guernsey feel trapped.
You stop any young person on the street corner and they say it's a boring place to be, there's nothing to do.
The nightlife's not good enough here. I'm moving away to London because there's just not enough to do here.
So what's there to do to keep a youth out of trouble?
We have strict kind of development controls here. So you can't just put up an amusement arcade, you can't just put up some kind of entertainment centre for the kids. As far as the adults is concerned, they go to the pubs, the bars. The island is a drinking island, unfortunately, and all the problems which then ensue from that, the social problems, you know, we're reaping the results of that now.
There is a fair number of people who think that things can't ever change, that it's going to stay like it always was when they were children. And to some extent, they don't want it to change, and I can understand them not wanting the social situation to change because it has been an easy place to live.
Easy for some, hard for others. Yet both roads have an essential element of life missing.
The vast majority of the people on the island are not interested or know very little about spiritual things.
Interested or not, the church knows there's work to do.
We run as many clubs as we can in the church and try to present the gospel to them in an up-to-date fashion that they can appreciate and understand.
They can kind of come here and just chill out and enjoy themselves, and then what we have, of course, later on is we ensure that there's a God slot so that we can, you know, share a little bit of the truth of the gospel with them, as well as them having a good time.
Though Guernsey may have lost some of its luster, few places can match the quality of life found here in paradise.
There may be some violence, there may be drugs, there may be some alcohol abuse, but generally there's a very rich quality of life that can be gained from living in Guernsey.